Thank you for joining me for another ITY video with top IT executives. Today I have with me Michael Alf. He's the country manager for Matrix42 in Australia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Alex. Great to be on the program.
So I thought I'd start easily by asking you to remind us what Matrix42 does.
Yeah, so Matrix42, founded at the beginning of the 90s in Germany, is what is called a workspace aggregator. What does it mean? When you think about today's situation in organizations, it's highly complex IT environments, multiple devices, apps, data everywhere. So what we do, what Matrix42 does, is aggregating everything and providing it to the end user in a very simple format.
Sure, and how about yourself and a bit about your history in the world of tech and when you joined Matrix42?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So as you can hear, I'm German, I don't hide that. And so I came to Australia 8 years ago now, and I was working with Capgemini, one of the largest consulting and IT companies.
Sure.
So I spent 12 years with that organization, 9 years back in Europe. Was doing kind of various roles in terms of business development, large account management, general management, project management, and so on. And that brought me back to Australia here, where I had the opportunity to actually work with that organization. So a lot of IT-related, transformation-related work. I then worked 1.5 years with Asciano here in Australia, and I was running the IT project management office. So again, a lot of IT projects, which was interesting because I was actually sitting on the other side. And then last year, end of May, I had the opportunity to join Matrix42 as the local country manager here for Australia. And again, kind of utilizing a lot of that background and knowledge and building kind of teams in development markets, which kind of brought me to Matrix42.
And it's great to have the customer viewpoint because it gives you a better insight into what your customers are going to want.
Absolutely, it's really fascinating. And when you have that conversation with the customer, you actually understand, because you were sitting in their chair, in her chair, or his chair, and really gives you a different perspective.
Sure. Now, back in May, I was writing about your new local and global hires and your strong momentum. How's it been going since that time? It's only just very recent, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a couple of weeks, but
a couple of months.
Absolutely. And we've seen some really good momentum. So we had that global appointment, Senior VP Sales, Philip Ortodoro, who's actually coming to Australia in July as well. And locally, we are continuing hiring both for the development team, and we are seeing interesting momentum in the market. And really, really interesting conversations with potential customers and also existing customers relating to our both our new products and also the older products.
Sure. Now, we've had the Gartner announcement about Matrix42 now being a recognized EMM vendor, and there's also the UEM, Unified Endpoint Management. So can you please tell about these developments and some of the other key trends that Gartner have been looking at?
Yeah, more than happy, Alex. So that is really a very important milestone for Matrix42. So just to kind of recap, Matrix42 acquired Silverback MDM here in Australia, which is and was an MDM player with a footprint here in the Australian market with some really reputable clients, two of the large 4 banks, for example, and a number of other interesting clients. So, and we further developed the product. And as a result, now Gartner recognized us and actually put us into the Quadrant as a so-called niche player.
The Magic Quadrant,
the Magic
famous
Quadrant,
Magic Quadrant.
Absolutely, on the EMM, and it's the first time, so that's a big milestone. What is even more important, especially here locally, for our existing and also our new customers, is that Gartner explicitly mentions the strength Matrix42 has both in Europe and in Australia. So because of our strong footprint, they explicitly mention kind of to consider us if you have operations here in Australia, which obviously makes us very proud, and we are happy to kind of serve our local clients and help them on their EMM journey. So that's kind of that announcement, which is really, really good. The other big trend Gartner is recognizing is the trend when you think about organizations and think about yourself. How many devices you are using. In average, there's 3.5 devices per person. I'm always questioning, what is the half device?
Yeah, probably your smartwatch or something.
Yeah, it's kind of something like that. But it gets more and more.
Sure.
And so one of the challenges for organization then becomes is, well, how do you manage all of that? So you have mobile devices on the one hand side, you have the PCs, laptops on the other end, and then you have everything in between, these hybrids like a Surface Pro from Windows. So the challenge then for IT is how do you manage that? And that's what Gartner calls unified endpoint management. So they basically say, why should IT make a decision which device is managed in which way? Yeah, so what they expect and see coming is that actually the software you're using, making this decision, and you're managing all the devices out of one environment. And Matrix42 is clearly ahead of the curve here and is offering, because that's our background. We are coming from the client management side. We are adding now the mobile device management side, and we have integrated that to the benefit of our customer, and we really provide not only a solution, but also a licensing model, which is user-based licensing, which basically means you as the customer, you buy one license and you can have as many devices, PCs, laptops, and what other devices are out there under one license.
And then you've also got the Dropbox announcement. So what does this mean for your customers and business?
Yeah, so the Dropbox is another interesting development. So we are really heavily investing into working with leading partners, which our customers also using. And Dropbox for Business is another good example. So we, with the help of Matrix42 and the MDM solution, you can actually now access the Dropbox for business in a much easier way. What does it mean for you as a customer? It basically gives you a second security layer, because you can actually access company data in the Dropbox only through managed devices. Yeah, so that provides that extra layer of security and convenience, which obviously is highly, highly critical in today's environment.
Sure. And there's also the IT Service Management Forum. So what are you doing events-wise?
Yeah, so when we looked end of last year, after we completed the integration, we looked at, well, how do we make actually Matrix42 known in the market? Yeah, because that is always one of the biggest challenges, and we face the same thing. So, and what we picked is the ITSMF, which is the IT Service Management Forum, which is basically the association for IT Service Delivery Managers in Australia. So we did two things. One is we became the national partner for 2016, which gives us basically presence in each of their events on a state level, which they do in every state once a quarter. We are present whenever possible, also physically, be able to basically talk to the participants.
Meet the customers. And
absolutely. Meet the customers and meet new customers and answer questions. That gives us some exposure. And then the second element is the big conference ITSMF is running in August. And we are the platinum sponsor, which we are proud of. And what that means is our CTO, Oliver Bendig, is coming over from Germany and actually is presenting on behalf of Matrix42, which gives kind of, again, our customers really first-hand view from the brain and the head, basically, of the product. He and his team are developing those products, and so you can first-hand basically talk to him, listen to him, and have that conversation. So that's kind of around the ITSMF. The other thing we're doing on the event space is because we're looking at different industries, and one of the industries which is very strong back in Europe is the public sector, especially in Germany, very strong, but also in Switzerland. And so we want to capitalize on that and leverage that basically here locally, where we have first clients in that space as well. So we're doing, basically we're sponsoring 3 events. Government events in Sydney, which recently happened, in Melbourne and Canberra, both for local and federal government, where we basically are present and we are able to discuss with the audience and explain how we potentially can add value.
Sure. Well, with the future events you got coming, I'll have some links to those in the body of the text of the article that this video appears in. Right. So for people wondering, just scroll down and you'll see the links there to that. So now, when I think of your name, Matrix, I mean, instantly I think of the red pill and the blue pill. The blue pill is the one where you take it, fall asleep, wake up, believe whatever you want to believe. The red pill is where you wake up and you've woken up. And then 42, which immediately makes me think of Douglas Adams and the answer to life, the universe, and everything. So is that the story behind your name, or is it something else?
I think it's really you nailed it. Exactly. And there's a funny story around the red and blue. Please, So we have our head office here in Sydney, in the CBD, and we have 2 meeting rooms. And then we came to we thought, okay, we have to name actually the meeting rooms, otherwise we can't book them. Guess what they are called now?
Red pill and blue.
And we have the blue room and the red room. Yes, absolutely. So we use those because that is part of the name actually refers to the Matrix.
Are there any
movie.
pillows in the blue room? You know?
Not yet. We're working on that. And we're coloring them, and we might actually offer kind of M&Ms.
Yeah, I was going to say you need to have red and blue M&Ms.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's it. When you do business deals, you got to hold your hands out and say you got to take the red pill or the blue.
Yes,
Probably taking it a bit too far, but it's nice that you're having fun. And 42 was from Douglas Adams.
Hitchhiker's
Guide to the Galaxy.
And yes, obviously we are not claiming that we have the answer to everything.
Sure.
But we think we have pretty much the answers to workspace management. Yeah. So in our space, we are leading edge. We do a lot of research and development, and that's reflected in that 42. Kind of which a little bit of humor, obviously.
Sure.
But it's kind of the message.
You have the answer to the universe of workspace management.
Yeah, I think that's very well phrased.
There you go. And what are some of the other key trends that you'd love to leave with the viewers that are important to you and your customers?
Yeah, so absolutely. So, I mean, it's an exciting time. Yeah, so we see so much change and disruption and devices. We spoke about the 3.5 devices. Now think a little bit further. Everybody talks about IoT, so Internet of Things, obviously, which is one of the major trends in the IT industry, as we all know. So what does that mean? I mean, we have the number of devices is kind of
exploding,
exploding, but also the personal devices. When you think about kind of wearables, at the moment, the smartwatches, the Apple Watches and others.
Sure.
You think about cars, as actually end user devices. So all these devices, they are devices in the sense of they have to be managed. So the complexity on the end user side is very much how to manage all these devices
and secure them as well,
and secure them, and how to provide them kind of a nice environment for the end user. That's where we come in. So that's IoT is really kind of basically supporting, and we are working closely and think about what is the future, how does the future look like. So that is one big trend. Another big trend, and kind of referred a little bit on that, is the whole security, so access management, identity and access management.
Yeah, it's
another
critical
major trend. Yeah. So single sign-on, all these cloud solutions and apps and things like that. How do you manage that and actually bring that together in one? So we are following and we are setting the trend. Yeah. So we're looking at that and we think about, well, what do we have to offer? And we have to develop. So what we did, we came up with My Workspace, which is a single sign-on solution which helps actually organizations managing that chaos almost and provide that single view on everything and a single access. So that's another big trend, the identity and access management, which also Gartner mentioned. And the third one, probably what I would like to kind of mention, is the challenge around when you think about all these devices and these cloud solutions and all of that, and related to that is the question, well, actually, do I have the right number and kind of licenses? So it's a whole compliance thing which becomes more and more important. The number of audits by the Microsofts and Adobes and whatever goes up significantly. There's examples from millions of fines actually, which we see in the press. So this is another trend which we are addressing both in the classical license management, but also then in this cloud-based license management, where we actually have solutions. So these are kind of three things I see going forward in our space.
Yeah, and then if we can look a little bit further into the future, where do you think your market and customers will be in a decade's time?
Yeah, look, it's a great question.
Crystal ball question.
It is. It's really. It's a crystal ball. When I look at only 5 years back, it's kind of it gets more and more difficult. But I would say the biggest one is really kind of that change of devices. I would say probably one of the things is actually this wearables. That is. The question I would ask is how do we disrupt actually the mobile phone? So we're sitting here using a mobile phone. To record in 4G quality, best quality actually. How is that changing? Maybe in a few years you do the radio kind of the recording basically from your glasses. Just kind of press record on your glasses and you get whatever that is, 8G then, and obviously related to then the virtual reality coming in, which changes actually how we behave and how we actually interact. On a global scale. So it's kind of making the world even more kind of global, local, bringing that together. and the complexity and magnitude of devices and how we interact in between, also supported then by artificial intelligence, obviously. Yeah. So the question is, how much communication is then between us still kind of in a physical way, and how much are our devices talking to each other?
Sure.
Yeah. Again, all that requires then for organizations to think about, how do you manage that? How do you make that accessible in a way that you actually maintain kind of the security of your data and of your environment?
The only thing about recording things on glasses is that we bob our heads around so much. I'll still need a tripod to put the glasses onto to keep a steady image.
Fair point, yeah.
So I always like to just change gears slightly as we get towards the end of the interview and just ask if you could please share the best piece of advice that you've ever received to help you get where you are today.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Look, I think that the one I would mention here is be in the now, be in the moment, because that's all we have. Yeah, that is life. We're sitting here, and I'm totally focused and I'm completely here. That's all what matters. And I think the more we actually take that in, the better it is.
Sure. And then what would your final message be to ITWire viewers and readers and for your current and future customers?
Yeah, be excited about what's coming. I think it's a totally exciting world. There's so much happening. There's so much opportunity, both on the individual and on the organizational side. Yeah, embrace that. Tap into these opportunities, these new trends. Think about how to disrupt yourself, how to disrupt your organization, and look out into the world. What are the best tools for that, and use those.
Michael, thank you very much, and I wish you and your customers the best of luck in navigating the matrix.
Thank you, Alex. It was great having you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.